dadgum. Dadgum, dadgum, dadgum.
I think you called for public hangings after convictions here on this. You think we're ever going to have that?
No way. No way. Nobody's got the guts to do anything, Benny. Ain't nobody, and I've been calling for executions of those folks since I was in the legislature, and I'm trying to pass legislation, but it never goes anywhere. Everybody's like, thinks I'm being blustery or something, but it's the truth. We need them. We need to execute them, and we need to quit with this nonsense of 30 years sitting on death row, because the person you're executing is not the person who committed the crime.
Yeah, you called this on our show, and you said it, I think during it was during the Biden during the Biden years, where you talked about exactly the Epstein op and how it is constant in Congress, how this is like the way of the world in Congress.
It's the classic honeypot.
Yeah.
But this guy was, and everybody says, oh, he's Mossad because he's a Jew or something. I don't buy that. I think he was very good at collecting powerful friends. And at some point he compromised them. He found out what their affliction was, what their sickness was. And for some of those people, it was some of the most vile things imaginable. I mean, these are biblical kind of Old Testament things where God destroyed everybody over. Yes. And, the code words he uses and what those mean, I've been told are pretty, I mean, gruesome's not even the word, but
satanic. Yeah, it's satanic. It's demonic stuff. Yeah.
It is satanic. And and then you look at Hollywood and the music industry and how that creeps over into our bunch. It's just, I mean, it's really incredible. It's really incredible how deep this thing runs. And I always remember one of my favorite actors of all time was the Rowdy Roddy Piper. Not when he was wrestling, because that was real, but when he was acting. And he was in a movie, I think it's called They Live. And I always remember this scene. And then when these aliens come down and they infiltrate, and he finds these glasses and he sees that these people half the people that are in control are aliens. And Carpenter made that movie, and it was just on the surface, it's a cool science fiction movie.
Great movie.
There's just one scene though where they're in there and they're in the like a big banquet, and he said, and we the whatever they called them were the Earthlings that had gone over to the other side. And he said, we've seen our investments grow 65% since the opposition took over, and they're all cheering. And that reminds me a whole lot of meetings in Congress that I've been in and where we are as a country, because they will sell their dadgum soul and look the other way to keep themselves in power. And not that everybody in Congress is involved with Epstein. You got a couple, Democrat leader was fundraising off of them, and that just tells you the power of money. And the media has ignored this story until they think they can put the thumb down on the Republican Party, and now it's out there. But I mean, it should have been out there. It's no excuse, but I just think there's more to this than we're being than the media. It's not just a cut and dried thing.
What are you gonna ask Bill Clinton? What are you gonna ask Hillary?
Yeah, I won't. I don't think we're gonna get the opportunity.
Really?
They'll plead the fifth like Epstein's old lady, and I was the one who, it seems to be lost on the media, that I was the one that called to subpoena her, get her before the committee, and she pleaded the fifth, but you needed to get it out there. And the Clintons are just, they're above the law. They are above the law. And again, Bill, I think Bill's just my opinion. I can still have an opinion in this country. I think he's just a dirty old man. He's just a pervert. And I think Hillary is just evil. And, and Clinton walks in the room with that big ginormous head. Everybody just loves him. And I think he'll come in and half the committee will fall at his feet if he does. I still don't think he'll do it. I think they put a little stuff in there and then they're going to blame the Republicans, and all this. I just say bring him in and roll the cameras and let's get it over with. We've done this so many times. Oh, we got him this time. We got him this time.
Yeah.
We ain't got him. I think we need to focus, Benny, on what we know we can accomplish. That's why, I'm doing the Doge committee totally different than we've done it in the past. I'm proposing we're going to have real legislation to propose to fix some of the problems instead of just sitting there and, Jasmine and whoever else on our side yelling at each other for clickbait. And, yeah, I'm frustrated if that was your next question, and I'm down, but I live this life, man. I've chose it. I knew exactly. I've told you this many times. My biggest surprise when I got to Washington was I was not surprised.
Mm. What should become, what do you think that you're going to subpoena Prince Andrew? Yeah, it's going to happen.
Do what?
Subpoena Prince Andrew? You think that's going to happen?
We ain't got no power over somebody overseas. I guess we could.
Uh-huh.
But, if he steps foot in America, I guess we could clamp down on him. But, England's falling anyway. Europe is falling. They're just falling off the map.
So I don't want America to fall off the map. SAVE Act. A bunch of Democrats use their voter ID to vote against voter ID. It's great.
213 did. And they didn't call it racism on that.
So could you talk us through that? So you have to use a identification card, right?
Yeah, I'll show
in
it
order to
you.
vote. Yeah, please.
I've got it right here. Got it.
Please, Congressman.
Somebody always asks me, said, "Do you have a permit to carry that gun?" And I always go, "Yeah, it's right here. It's called the Constitution of the United States. I carry a copy with me." So there you go. Hang on, I'm like my dad. I got my pockets full of stuff. Hang on. There it is. It's my Congressional ID. Bam.
Bam.
There it is.
I'm the authority.
Yeah,
I'm the authority.
Yeah, right there.
There you go.
And right there, you just stick it in the thing and you hit the button, yes, no, or present. And that's what you do. And that's how you vote. Or if you've lost your card, you can walk down front and you have a red or a green card. And I give those as Christmas presents sometimes. But
so you have to that looks like an ID that has your face on it. That's clearly like it's watermarked and everything like that. It looks pretty sophisticated.
Yep.
It's not like you could make
it going in official places before I'll show it up because it's an official document. I mean, it's federal.
So Democrats all have those, and they all use them to vote.
Absolutely. You can sit. There's little voter things all over the floor in different spots. I have one sit where I usually sit, as I call Senator's row, second row from the back on the right hand side, and you just pop it in there and hit the button. Boom. There you go.
Okay.
Democracy. But it just blows my mind that minority leaders don't literally, physically smack Schumer back on this one. Saying Jim Crow, that is just a disgrace to people that have faced racism in this country of ours. You should never, and they diminish it every time they do that. And it's always who is doing it. It's some white elite liberal from the Northeast. And that to me is just gross. And it's at some point, minority community's got to say enough with this stuff. We are off this deal. These people are not our friends. They use us. Malcolm X had some great quotes, and I can't think of all of them right now, but they use them and then they forget them the day after the election until the next election. And then they just get right back in line. And it's disgusting to me. They ought to call this stuff out.